Why the sudden difference between what President Uhuru Kenyatta, then Deputy President William Ruto, promised Kenyans as a party that will have an outlook of a national composition, today appear to be disenfranchised?
First of all, when you talk matters Jubilee, sometimes I think it's so unfortunate that this can happen to one of, or what some of us thought was one of the most progressive parties of the future, or coalitions, if you will. A few years removed, this party, even before we enter to the discussion on what happened or who is being dropped or who is being kicked, at one point had a near supermajority in the National Assembly.
170.
Yeah, can you imagine? Led in the county assemblies, number of senators, if you look, governors, women rep. And today we are discussing the same party that after the 2022 elections has a paltry membership or leadership in parliament
less than
30, 28 to be specific. And it just actually drives you to wonder how easy or how fast faith can erode in a particular party if you don't put your house in order. And I think this is what is happening to Jubilee. The mere fact that they never put their house in order. There was a time members were crying for, to ask the top leadership, let us have a NEC meeting, let us have a meeting. No meeting was coming along. And so if you do not harness, and there's some other things, there are things we learn, here and there. During the height of Jubilee, they were all over trying to see how ANC of South Africa is being run. They went all the way, some members went all the way to China to see how the Communist Party of China is being run, how they are able to administer such, good governance or whatever they call structures to be able to run such a huge party. But now when you look at it in foresight, you realize some of the major mistakes that they've done really was actually drained to the very same facts that they are fighting today. So here you have the top echelons or the leader of the party, who happens to be the former president, the immediate former president of this country, who is now really fighting for the same space with some of the junior members back then, who at one point could not have raised a finger. And this is sometimes why I keep insisting. There's a lesson we learn from past leadership, which says that sometimes the credibility of your term or your credibility of your existence as a leader must always be superior than the longevity of it. Meaning that I do not see any reason as to why. And if I was to be asked, what would you tell the former president? I would tell him, such things you do not need to be even entangled with. As somebody who has served Kenya, and many people say you did your part and you did it well. Some of these things you just ignore and move on. Because what we expect, Ayub, and I don't think it has started. It will be a push and pull.
Before the expectation and what appears to be the friction amongst members of the party, I mean, was it all then principally based on the foundation of the party leadership, in this case the personalities, while not focusing on the structures which ought to have strengthened the party, past the president and even the former deputy president who is now the leader of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance? I mean, was there more focus on the principles than the very foundation that ought to have anchored the party?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You see, they say when you lead well, when you lead without bias, when you lead people properly, when you lead people peacefully, in a manner that is being understood and where you are caring for each and every member, your followers will definitely follow you with the same arrangement that you lead them. If you lead them through chaos and through silos, this is bound to happen. And I believe this is what has happened. The top leadership of Jubilee Party at some point fumbled, and they fumbled very badly. Within the party, most of them started their own silos. And this is what you're finding right now. And it did not happen just the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that you can say started immediately Jubilee won the 2017 elections. And that is why you saw a huge portion of members left to go and join another party. If you had the leadership of Jubilee back then, if their pulse was straight within the party, all these things would have been sorted.
Okay.
But I think at some point they fumbled, and this is the price they have to pay.
But Wakili Dano,